Good morning, students. Today let me start a new chapter, that is class Mammalia. You know what are mammals? General characters. Mammals are primarily terrestrial, homeothermic vertebrates with most complex organization ever seen in the animal kingdom. That means all organ systems are highly evolved in case of mammals when compared to the other phyla of the kingdom, Animalia. The name Mammalia comes from the presence of mammary glands, with the help of which the female suckles her young ones. So, because of these mammary glands, the animals of this group are called as mammals. Their body is divisible into four regions: head, neck, trunk, and tail. And in primates like humans, the tail is absent. And the body is protected by an exoskeleton made up of hair or fur, and this also acts as an insulation coat and help in regulating in homeothermy. The skin shows certain glands in addition to mammary glands. They are: first one, sebaceous glands, which secretes an oily secretion called sebum, which maintains the complexion of the hair. Second one, meibomian gland. The secretion lubricates the eyes. And then ceruminous glands, which is also called earwax or simply called wax, and it secretes the cerumen that protects the ear. And perineal glands, which secretes the scent that helps avoiding predators or attract the opposite sex. Then the next important glands are sweat glands, which secretes the sweat or perspiration, which helps in homeothermy. And the maintenance of this homeothermy is very important, as you know, because we are homeothermic animals or warm-blooded animals, and sweat glands play an important role in maintaining homeothermy. And it also helps in throwing out metabolic waste too. And one of the diagnostic features of mammals is the presence of external ears or the pinnae. You know, we all have this pinnae or the external ears. That is one of the striking features of mammals. Coming to next character, endoskeleton is bony. And the details of bones of the endoskeleton are as follows. So the skull is dicondylar type or bicondylar, and it is tropibasic. The cranial cavity does not extend beyond the orbit. So that is the meaning of the tropibasic type of skull, and the details of which I will explain it to you in the practical class. Between the bones of the skull, sutures are present. Probably have seen the human skull, and between the different bones you must have found some thread-like projections, what are called as sutures. So the presence of sutures in the skull bones is one of the striking features of mammals. And dentition is described as thecodont, heterodont, and diphyodont. You know the meaning of these different terminologies, the details of which we will study it later. The zygomatic arch is formed by the fusion of maxillary processes. Jugal and processes of squamosal is also a diagnostic feature. And the auditory capsule is formed of a single bone called periaortic, and this bone is covered by a tympanic bone on which tympanic bulla is present. So this is with reference to auditory capsule feature. And the lower jaw is made up of a single bone called dentary bone with mental and mandibular foramina, and the jaw suspensorium is described as craniostylic type, wherein the squamosal and articular of the lower jaw are fused. There are three ear ossicles like malleus, that is the modified articular, incus, modified quadratus, and stapes, modified calamellaris. So these are the three important ear ossicles present in the ears, that too in the internal ear. And the vertebrae are described as acellus type or amphiplatean type, that is without a centrum. And the ribs are generally double-headed and consists of capitulum and tuberculum. So these are the projections found on the rib bones. And the pectoral girdle is without coracoid. and the pelvic girdle is described as osinominatum. So these are some important features of the endoskeleton in mammals. Then mammals possess two pairs of pentadactyl limbs which are adapted for various purposes such as walking, climbing, digging, running, swimming, flying, etc. Different varieties of mammals exhibit different types of locomotion, and these are being aided by these two pairs of pentadactyl limbs. Mammals show quadrupedal or bipedal limbs. We the human individuals are bipedal organisms where we move with only the second pair of limbs of our body, that is hind limbs, which we call it as legs too. Whereas the other mammals are said to have the locomotion with the help of all the four limbs, that is both with forelimbs and hind limbs, hence they are said to be quadrupeds. Quadra, as the name itself suggests, means four, and peda refers to the legs. So they move with four legs, hence they are called quadrupeds. See, most of the mammals are quadrupeds except in case of the mammals like man, chimpanzee and all. Then, the digits show nails, claws or hooves, and the mammals fall under three categories based on the nature of gaits, that is the posture or the manner of walking. The three types of postures of the gaits are as follows. Plantigrade type. In this type, entire palm and sole touches the ground while walking. And they are slow moving animals. Example, primates like humans. So, the digits in our body is the movement of human is said to be plantigrade type, wherein we touch the entire surface of the sole or that hind limb to the ground level, hence it is said to be plantigrade. Then coming to digitigrade type, in this type the distal two joints of the digits touches the ground while walking, and the mammals showing this gait are runners. Then unguligrade types. In this type only the tip of the functional digit touches the ground, and this gait is an adaptation for fast running animals. Example, horse. So horses will have unguligrade type of locomotion or the gait, whereas the runners like these carnivorous mammals, they have digitigrade type of locomotion or the gait. Then digestive system is complete with mouth at anterior end and anus at posterior end. And the digestive system comprises of associated digestive glands such as three pairs of salivary glands, parotid glands, maxillary glands and sublingual glands. So these are the type of salivary glands present in mammals. And the other important digestive gland will be liver and pancreas. And in addition to this, the human digestive system or the digestive system of mammals is also associated with gastric glands of the stomach region and intestinal glands of the intestinal region. And these different digestive glands secrete their own digestive juice which help in the process of digestion. Then respiratory system comprises of a pair of well-developed respiratory organs, mainly the lungs. And mammal breathe only the atmospheric air. So though there are some secondarily aquatic animals like dolphins and whales, and though they are mammals, but they are secondarily adapted for aquatic mode of life, and even though they are aquatic, they exhibit the respiration through the lungs. Probably have seen the very long gulping of air by these whales and dolphins when they come out of the water frequently. Then the body cavity is divided into upper thoracic cavity and lower abdominal cavity, and which is separated by a muscular partition called diaphragm. So presence of diaphragm is another striking feature of mammals. Then circulatory system is of closed type. The heart is clearly four-chambered, and the truncus arteriosus and sinus venosus are absent, and only the left aortic arch is functional. RBCs are biconcave discs and enucleate type, but in camel they are nucleate. So that means, except in case of camels, the rest of the mammals do not have nucleated RBCs, but they have enucleated RBCs. And the hepatic portal system is present, but renal portal system is absent. Excretory system. It consists of metanephric kidneys and is associated with reproductive system, forming urinogenital system. And the mammals are ureotelic and store urine temporarily in urinary bladder. The nervous system is well developed, brain is large, the two lobes of the cerebrum are connected ventrally by a sheet called corpus callosum, and there are four optic lobes constituting corpora quadrigemina. The cerebellum is too large, and there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So these are some features pertaining to the nervous system in mammals. Coming to reproductive system, and it is well developed, and mammals are all unisexual animals and sexual dimorphism they exhibit. And in the male, testes are enclosed in scrotal sacs, a very unique feature not seen in any other animal groups, and they are extra-abdominal in position. That means the testes are present outside the abdominal cavity in males in sacs called scrotal sacs. So this is again a striking feature present in case of mammals. And the penis in the male genital external organ, and in female vagina is the external genital organ, and the fertilization is internal. Eggs are usually small, aleacetal without yolk. Mostly mammals are viviparous, but there are some oviparous mammals too, the details of which we'll discuss it in the later part of the discussion. And during development, extra embryonic membranes and placenta develops. So that is again an important feature in mammals. And as I said earlier, mammals are viviparous, and some are oviparous, and some are pouched mammals, or the pouched animals, as in case of kangaroo, wallaby, etc. Now coming to classification of mammals. The class Mammalia is divided into two subclasses. Subclass 1 Prototheria and subclass 2 Theria. Coming to the first subclass Prototheria. Salient features. Prototheria includes primitive egg-laying mammals, and they exhibit characters of both reptilia and mammals and act as a connecting link between reptiles and birds. And coming to reptilian characters. External ears are absent, teeth are absent, corpus callosum is absent, epiphyses in vertebrae are absent, and in pectoral girdle, precoracoid, coracoid and T-shaped interclavicles are present. So all these are reptilian characters too. And the scapular spine is absent. So normally in the scapular bone, we come across with a spiny projection in other animals, but in mammals that is absent. Then ribs are single-headed and the tuberculum is absent. And in the female, cloaca is present and the oviduct is not differentiated into uterus. And in male, testis is intra-abdominal. So in the previous slide, I told you that in majority of the mammals, especially in the males, the testes are found outside the abdominal region in a cavity in the sacs called scrotal sacs, but here it is an unique feature which is deviating from the typical mammalian characters. So there is no scrotal sacs here in the males. And in case of these mammals like prototherians, eggs are large with large amount of yolk, and they are heavily telolecital and megalecythal types and or cleidoic type. You know the meaning of all these terminologies. Heavily telolecithal means heavy amount of yolk is present, and megalecythal again refers to more amount of yolk, and cleidoic eggs means the eggs are being covered over by hard calcareous shells. So this is with reference to the eggs laid by these mammals called prototherians, and that is one of the reptilian character. Then coming to some mammalian characters of these prototherians: presence of exoskeleton made of hair, homeothermy, presence of mammary glands, presence of diaphragm, and the lower jaw with only one bone, that is dentary bone, and presence of 3 ear ossicles like malleus, incus and stapes, and presence of 4 corpora quadrigemina, and the orbices are eunucleate type. So these are some mammalian characters. Then coming to some unique characters, that is, one is dentition, wherein teeth are present only in the young ones, while in adults horny beak is present. Then second one, mammary glands are without nipples or teats, so these are absent in prototherians. And this prototheria comprises a single order, that is Monotromata or Monodelphia. Let us go through some interesting features of orders, which are as follows. See, the name monotrim means one-hold, referring to cloaca. You know what is cloaca is? It is a single hole that serves the urinary tract, anus and reproductive tract. So it's a common opening for 3 different systems. And they are the most primitive egg-laying mammals, and the eggs hatch into young ones, wherein the mother nourishes them with the milk which is exuded from the pores in their abdominal cavity. And the young ones lick this particular pores to get the milk, because the nipples or teats are absent in the mammary glands of these prototherians. Then coming to distribution, these are found in Australia, Tasmania and New Guinea, and they are restricted to that particular places only. Scapular spines are reduced, ribs are single-headed, cervical ribs are present, and the pelvic girdle consisting of a bone called epipubic bone, which is said to be marsupial bone. And the tympanic bulla and lacrimals are absent, jugal is absent and reduced. Monotrims are not to be regarded as link between mammals like reptiles and higher mammals, and they occupy in an independent status as a stock, and they have their origin as distinctly separate ancestor, and they have not led to any other groups. So that is the evolutionary importance of this prototherians. Coming to examples, so the 2 main examples of this order Monotromata are Ornithorhynchus, commonly called as duck-billed platypus, Echidna, which is called Spiny anteta, or it is also technically known as Tachyglossus. So these are some important characters of Monotromata. Coming to the pictures or the images of the different types of monotrims. So as you observe here, can you guess what this is? This is what? The spiny anteta. And this is what? The duck-billed platypus. You see, it is having a long bill-like projection as it is seen in case of ducks, hence the name duck-billed platypus. And here on the right hand side you will see the variety of these examples of this Monotromata. And this is another slide showing you the different parts of these 2 main examples of Monotromata. They are Spiny anteta, that is Echidna, and duck-billed platypus, which is nothing but Ornithorhynchus anatinus. So with this, let me stop at this level and continue our discussion in the next class. Thank you.